Hello everyone. So today I am going to do a tutorial on how to make pink clouds for a pink cloud photo shoot setup. So for a little bit of context, I recently did a Boss Babe editorial branding session for a client, and I had been wanting to really try this idea for a pink cloud background behind her. And her branding color happened to be like baby pink. So it was the perfect opportunity. So then I had to figure out how to actually do it. Because if you get on YouTube and you just search like DIY cloud tutorial, not a lot pops up. And you can't find anything on YouTube that actually tells you how to get your hands on or make pink material for the clouds. Because obviously cotton, whether you buy organic cotton or you buy fiber filling, you're gonna need to figure out how to color it pink. And there's not really anything out there that tells you how to do it. So I am here to fill the gap. Because it took a lot of trial and error for me, but I finally figured it out. So I just wanted to help you guys in case any of you are photographers, or even if you're just like people or moms, you know, and you want to create some kind of DIY cloud setup for a birthday party or, you know, your baby's photo shoot or something like that. So this isn't just for photographers, but I specifically used this to make my photography setup for that session. And I just remembered I'm missing one more thing. I thought I did so good setting all of my things out here, but I missed one thing, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So these are the two things I was missing. So as you can see, there's really not a whole lot that you need. Like just what's on this table is pretty much everything you'll need to create like a pink cloud DIY setup for a photo shoot or a birthday party or something like that. So let's quickly go over what I have. And I'll be sure to pop in some pictures of the photo shoot that I did just to further give you context as to how this is going to turn out in the end. But yeah, let's get into what you need, which honestly isn't a lot. So balloons, which I obviously got pink because I'm dyeing my cloud material pink, but so just get whatever color matches the clouds that you're going to be doing. So I got pink ones. Depending on how big your setup is going to be, you might need a few bags of these. And then just to save myself time, I picked up one of these balloon blower uppers. I got a balloon blower, and I got this just to save me time. I hate blowing up balloons and it makes me lightheaded, so I picked this up. I just got this one at Walmart, and I want to say it was literally like 15 bucks. I mean, it was not expensive. So if you want to save yourself a lot of time, I would definitely recommend getting one of these. You just pop the balloon down onto it and it blows it up. It's super quick. So I got a balloon blower, I have my balloons. I also got a big box of balloon dots. So they just kind of look like this. They're just rolls that come in the box with balloon dots, like the little glue dots. So they're just little like sticky circles, and they're literally balloon arch dots. So when you see people doing those big balloon arches, these dots are what they use to stick the balloons together. Comes in really handy for what we're gonna be doing for making like the cloud forms. So balloon dots, and then this is optional, just depends on what you're doing with your setup, but I also got fishing line, clear fishing line, because I knew that I was going to be hanging at least one cloud from the ceiling and I wanted it to look like it was floating. So I purposely got clear fishing line so that you won't see the line hanging down from the ceiling. So that's the other thing I got. And then last but not least are these bad boys here. So I was so shocked at how cheap this was. So I went to Hobby Lobby, and of course you can go the organic route if you want real cotton. It's just like crazy expensive. So I got this. It is fiber filling, so it's synthetic. It's like polyester or something, but it's basically the batting and stuffing that goes inside stuffed animals and things like that. And it is called Polyfill. And I got this at Hobby Lobby. I ended up getting 10 bags, but I don't know if you can see that there is literally $3.57 a bag. So like I said, super cheap to do this project. It more just takes time putting it together. So I ended up getting 10 of these bags. And of course I had already done this for a photo shoot. So I got 10 bags, I had 2 left, but just to show you, all of this is filled with my pink stuffing that I dyed for that photo shoot. So that was about 8 bags of the Polyfill, and that's all stuff together. So obviously when you pull it out and you put it out for your set, it's a ton. So I would say just get 10 bags to be safe. So yeah, I got the fiber filling, and I thought I was doing so good. Of course, I missed 2 more things. One sec. Okay, I thought I did so good preparing, but I always forget a couple of things. One of these days, when I do one of these tutorials, I'm gonna have my life together. But until then, I mean, that doesn't matter, right? Like, you guys are just here to learn. So this is the last thing I forgot. So I just got a big paint bucket, like out of the garage. So big bucket, something you can dye in. I don't know if this stuff like stains bathtubs or sinks or anything like that. So I definitely wouldn't do it anywhere that you like don't want to risk getting dye on. I was gonna do it in the tub and then I wouldn't have needed this bucket, but I was like, ugh, my husband might kill me if he comes home and our entire porcelain tub is pink. So just get something that you can, you know, get dirty and stain up and it won't matter. And just for reference to show you guys, it does leave a tint. So you can see inside here, it's definitely pink because I used this bucket for like all 10 or well, 8 of the 10 bags. So anyway, you need a big bucket, something that you can dye in that you don't care about messing up. And then this is the other thing that you need. This is RIT dye, and it is specifically for synthetic fabrics. Believe it or not, all 8 bags of fiber filling that I dyed, I used just one of these, and I still have probably a third or a fourth of this left. So it does not take a whole lot. The other thing, I mean, if you just don't want to get your hands filthy and, you know, risk all this synthetic dye like being all over your skin, I also had gloves. So dye, bucket, gloves, balloons, balloon blower, balloon glue dots, fishing line, and then of course your fiber filling itself. And then this ended up being so perfect for the project, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. But this is what you'll need to actually put the fiber filling onto the balloons. So this is Loctite spray adhesive, and it doesn't have to be this exact one. They also, I just picked these up at Walmart, and at Walmart right next to this in the craft section, they also had a craft brand spray adhesive, and I bought that as well. And the girl that was helping me set this up, she was using that one, I was using this one, and they both work totally fine. So you just need a spray adhesive for crafts. So that is the last thing that you need. I think that is everything. I don't think I forgot anything else. This is all the stuff that you'll need to create this project. And again, everything was super cheap. The spray adhesive was like around $5. The RIT dye, I want to say was around like $7. I guess I could look at it. Oh, $5, $4.99 for that. And then the balloons, of course, are super cheap. And the Polyfill bags were, you know, less than $4 each. So for all 10 bags and this stuff, I want to say it was all like under $50 if I had to guess. So not expensive at all. It's more just the time that it takes you to do this. I knew that I wanted the fiber filling to be pink because it was a pink cloud setup. And they only come in white. There's no way to get pink. I scoured the internet. I could not find any pink cotton or pink fiber filling like in big bulk quantities that was not just insanely expensive. So this was my solution. I got the Polyfill and I got the dye, and so I knew that the very first part of my project was just gonna be spending a week or so, like after shoots and after putting the kids to bed and stuff, to dye my fiber filling and let it dry. So here's the thing that I did not realize until I started getting into this, but when you dye the fiber filling, because this is synthetic, it takes forever to dry. Like I laid this out after I dyed it on the drying racks, and it literally took days for the water droplets to dissipate, to evaporate, because it's synthetic. So there's nothing absorbing it. There were literally just water droplets all over the cotton for like a couple of days until they finally all dried up. So definitely give yourself at least a few days dyeing this before you do it. Like don't buy all this stuff if your shoot is the next day, because you're not gonna be able to finish it in time. What I did is I did one bag at a time. So I had my giant paint bucket, and I would fill it up with super hot water. I didn't do this the way it says exactly on the bottle because I just didn't have the time and I didn't want to be moving boiling water from the stove over to the sink a million times. This filling, especially once the water is inside there, it fills up the entire bucket. So you can only do one bag at a time. I just filled it up with the hot water, put the dye in, mixed it all up, put the fiber filling in there. I took it out of the bag, of course, and I put it in there. And I had the gloves on and I was literally just moving it around with the paint stick and with my hands when I could manage the heat. And I was just stirring and stirring, and then I just left it. I just did that for about 5 minutes to get it all mixed up and submerged, and then I just left it there for like 30 minutes. It wasn't a crazy long time. And you can always come back, and I would just come back and check it. I would just like pull out a piece of the wet stuffing, and if it looked pink enough, then I would go ahead and pour it into the sink, rinse it off with cool water, just like, you know, anything else when you're using fabric dye. You do it with hot water to let it soak, and then to rinse it out and set it, you just rinse it out with cold water. So I just rinsed and rinsed and rinsed until I got as much of the dye itself off of the cotton. And then I just had these big cardboard boxes, my old Amazon boxes, in the garage, and I just laid them out all over those boxes. And I had a few like cookie racks also that I set them on so they would get air from underneath and on top. But you basically just need a big area to lay out your filling and let it air dry. And again, that took a few days. But this is what we ended up with. So it's just like a baby pink. It's a very light pink. It's not going to be like super saturated like hot pink or anything. I guess maybe if you soaked it like for a full 24 hours, maybe it would get a little darker. But it all turned out baby pink like this, which was perfect. And the great thing about it is you can pull little pieces apart, you can stuff it back together and make bigger pieces. So it's really, really easy to manipulate this. So once I had all of my fiber filling dyed, then it was time to move on to the actual setup. Now I've got a time lapse of us actually doing the setup just so you can kind of get the big picture of what it took to get the set up. The set turned out really cool. This person the shoot was for, she was an injector. So we had extra little things in there, flowers and gift boxes and things like that. But overall, the main idea of this backdrop setup was pink clouds everywhere. So we kind of put pink clouds around a chair. We put balloons around the chair and then added the pink clouds over it so it looked like she was literally sitting in a cloud. So that was where my brain was. Now, whenever I was planning this session, I always go to Pinterest. And so I was just on Pinterest and I was just scrolling, and looking up like pink cloud photography, pink aesthetic photography, pink backdrop, pink whatever. I was just trying to type in as many different things in Pinterest about backgrounds and backdrops and pink and aesthetic, like just any of those keywords I was just typing in. And I ended up putting together a little Pinterest board of like this pink vibe that I had in my mind. So I kind of took a mixture of different things off of that Pinterest board, and that's how I created the setup, and it turned out really cool. But I just thought, you know what? The takedown was so easy when I was disassembling everything. The cotton literally came right off the balloons, even though we had used adhesive. So it was so easy to pull off and stuff in the bag and keep for future shoots to use in different ways that I was like, you know what? I need to make a tutorial about this because you guys could use this so easily for different things in your shoots or for your parties or whatever. So I just thought it would be really helpful for people. So now it is time to get into actual assembly. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and one of the tutorials I found on YouTube was they used those, they're like paper lanterns, the spheres. They're just like paper lanterns that unfold and they fold out into a sphere, and they just hot glued their stuffing onto it. However, I knew that I did not want to throw this whole thing away when I was done, and I can't really store giant, globes that can't be disassembled and put away for storage. So I decided that I would try balloons instead, because we all see balloon arches and balloon decor at parties, and it's obviously super cheap and super easy to put up and take down. So I decided to go that route. So I got my pink balloons, and of course, because my fiber filling is dyed pink. And I just decided to blow up a bunch of balloons. I think I have a little clip of it, of me just blowing up balloons. It took so long. But I was blowing up balloons and I just had them laying all over the studio floor. And then I was just staring at them like, okay, now what? Because I have my filling and I have my balloons, but I just was not sure if it was gonna work to use a spray adhesive onto the balloons. So I just went for it and gave it a shot. So you're literally just taking, if you've never used one of these things, I hadn't, because I am not a big decorator for parties. So you just take your balloon, go over it, and boom, you have your balloon. This saves so much time. So I definitely suggest getting one of those blowers because it was like definitely under 20 bucks at Walmart, and it will come in handy for several sessions that you do. Just tying this pair together. After you have the two, you're just crisscrossing them and essentially twisting them around each other like that. So now you have this bigger form and it's not gonna come apart. And then from there, you can just add more balloons to it using the glue dots. So I'm gonna do that after I blow up just a couple more balloons. Okay, so I just have a couple extra balloons. Obviously, use as many as you need to make your clouds as big or small as you want to. For us, we actually did a mixture of cloud formations where it's like big, giant cloud, and then we put stuffing over it. But then aside from those, we also did several balloons that were not tied together, just single balloons, and we would just balloon glue dot them together and set them on the floor around her feet. And we secured several to a little rolling wall grid that I had so that we could have clouds coming up behind her in the chair she was sitting. And then of course we had her sitting in a chair. So we also wrapped balloons and secured balloons around the front of the chair itself so that we could put the stuffing over it so that the chair disappeared and it just looked like she was sitting in a cloud, so you could not see the chair at all. So I'm just going to quickly show you like how we made the balloon forms. And again, you can make them as big or as small as you want, use as many balloons as you want to attach to it. But basically, after you wrap those first two pairs around each other, then literally all you're doing is just attaching another balloon in a different spot to keep growing the balloon formation. So to do that, it was so easy with these glue dots. So we just take, and it's easiest to hold it on the roll, and you literally just push it onto the balloon itself, and then you just pull it off. So you have this little glue dot on there, and then all you are doing is just figuring out where you want to attach it, and you're just sticking it together just like that, and that's it. And then you just have an extra piece. I gotta sit down, they're getting so tall. You have an extra piece on there, and of course you can secure it in multiple places. So now that we've got that side done, I will take another glue dot on the other side of this balloon and then just securing it to the balloon next to it. So now the glue dots are on both sides of that balloon, so it is keeping it really nice and firm on there. And then I'm just gonna add one more, I think, and then we'll get into the filling being added on, because that was the hardest part, honestly. So again, glue dot, and then just pulling it off and sticking it on that one, and then one more, sticking it here, pulling that off. So you just have the little glue dot here, and you just see where it's naturally gonna fall, what it's gonna fall into. And let's see, maybe here. And then just push that together. And then there you go. You've got your basic form that the filling is going to go over. So I'm gonna quickly move some of this other stuff off the desk just to give us a little bit more room, and then we'll go into how we actually attach it. We are going to add the batting onto the balloons just using the spray adhesive. What we're gonna do is literally just spray a little bit of this onto the balloon, and we're just adding the batting on. And when you see it in person, it kind of looks a little bit crazy, but the more batting that you add on in different areas, the better it looks. So what we realized when we were doing it is if you take like a big giant chunk and you glue it on, it's gonna fall off pretty easily because it's just too heavy and the glue is not strong enough, and the stuffing will kind of start to fall apart. So what we did that worked pretty well was actually to take pretty small, I mean not crazy small, but like the size of your hand, maybe a little bit bigger, and kind of thin, and see how it's kind of thin. You can kind of see through it just a little bit. Because it doesn't have to be completely opaque. It's okay if the balloon shows through a little bit because it's the same color as the batting. I am just taking the balloon you're just doing an area at a time. You don't want to spray the entire balloon because it will dry too much by the time you get to each section to put it on. So you just take a somewhat small piece and you're literally just spraying a little bit of the adhesive, and then you are just pressing the batting into it. And you're literally just repeating this process. Oh my gosh, I cannot stop saying literally. I am so sorry. You guys are gonna hate that word after you watch a few of my tutorials, but I can't help it. It's just like I say it without thinking. But I'm telling you guys, as you do like each little section, it will just start to come together. So you're just repeating the same process at every different part of the balloon. So obviously I'm not gonna do this like talking to you the entire time because that will make this video too long, and people are already coming for me in my comments telling me that my videos are too long. But I like to explain things in detail. I want you guys to actually understand how to do everything and why I am giving you the advice that I'm giving you. I want you to truly understand it. So none of my videos are going to be like 60 seconds long or even 5 minutes long for that point. So if you're looking for super quick videos, I'm probably not your girl. But if you want to actually understand things and you don't mind watching a video that's a little bit longer, then welcome. So I just did that one little section. I'm just taking the spray adhesive, going over again, pressing down there, and it's literally the same process. Again, super easy, just takes time to get your placement where you want it. So in the end, when you're done, this is kind of what you end up with. And then I will say, while I was shooting this, I did see some sparse places where I maybe could see a little bit of a balloon, or maybe one area wasn't like as thick with the cloud material as other areas were. And AI was perfect. I used generative fill and AI to just fix those areas, and also just to enhance the look of it in general. I would select certain areas and then do generative fill, and it would kind of automatically fill in and make it look even more cloud-like. So AI is going to be your best friend when you're doing these kinds of setups because it can fix little imperfections that you have in your images. If you are hanging them, I would just say get your fishing line attached inside the balloon form, like on one of the little ends of the balloons, so that you already have that in there before you start adding the stuffing on, so that you're not trying to dig through the stuffing to find it later. So just make sure you attach your fishing line before you start all this. That way you've just got the line setting out to the side and you can just pick it up and move it and hang it wherever you need it. So that is literally it. Just having the pink clouds in general, you guys can do a lot with this. So another idea I had is if I got blue and purple dye, I could get more fiber filling and dye those, and then I could create like a watercolor pastel vibe that has like basically, cotton candy vibes in it, so that if somebody doesn't just love the color of pink, but they still love the ethereal vibe, you can have those other colors mixed in. So it would just be like a rainbow of blue and purple and pink clouds all kind of swirled together. That would be amazing too. So you can definitely play with colors. And if you want to do white, you've just saved yourself a ton of time because you're not going to have to dye the batting pink or blue or whatever you're dyeing it. So if you're going with white, then just buy white balloons. The fiber filling's already white and you are good to go. You're just making clouds everywhere. But I personally wanted it to be pink clouds because I feel like that's more unique. I feel like you do see white clouds fairly often in photo shoots, and I wanted mine to be just a little bit different. And of course it matched her branding color, so that's why we went with pink. But that is it. And then literally when I was done, oh, I said literally again. When I was done with the shoot, I was like, oh my gosh, how long is it gonna take me to clean this up? Honestly, guys, it was so easy. I'm not gonna say literally. I went around to all of the balloons in the setup and watch. Like seriously, so easy. It just pulls right off. So it's sticky enough that it will stay for the shoot, but it is not so sticky that you can't just pull it right off when you're done, which means you can pull all of this off, stuff it in some big trash bags, put it up in storage, and pull it back out for a shoot some other time. There are millions of ways that you could use this batting material, and there's a million different ways you could set up a cloud. You know, you could do one where all of the batting just covers an entire floor and the model is laying in the cloud and you're shooting down on them. So there's so many things you can do with this, but that is the great thing about this is it's so easy to assemble and disassemble. So I went around, I pulled all of the batting off, stuffed it into bags so I could keep it, and then I just went around and popped all of my balloons and tossed them in the trash. So get you some batting, get you some dye, get you some balloons, and go to town. See what you can create, because I guarantee you, you'll create a beautiful setup that you can shoot your clients in that is just going to blow people's minds and look so cool. So yeah, try it. I think you guys are going to like it. So I hope that you guys create it. I hope that you guys go get this stuff and give it a try. And please, if you do, send me a message, tag my page, show me what you created. I love seeing when you guys actually take these tutorials and roll with them and create your own version of them. I love seeing them. I am all about community over competition. So I'm sharing all of these techniques and secrets with you guys because I want to see you use them and I want to see you succeed. So I hope that this was super helpful and I cannot wait to see what you guys create. If there are any other tutorials or DIYs that you guys want to see from me, I would love to hear your ideas. I'm always trying to think of things that will actually be useful to you in your photography journey. So whether it's about equipment and lenses or about creative process for creating things like this, like if you guys want to see an in-depth YouTube video on how I thought this through inside my brain of how I wanted to create this shoot, I can do things like that too. I just don't want to bore you guys with anything you don't care about. So if there's anything you would like to see me talk about that would actually benefit you, I would love to hear it. I am all ears. I'm always just a DM away. You guys have my website and my Facebook and Instagram pages in the description box. So be sure to check those out. I also, for those of you who don't know, I have online courses. So I just came out with my 3 signature courses and I now offer them in a bundle. So you can purchase all 3 of my online courses, which are studio lighting with the 1 light setup. So it just shows you 5 different lighting techniques, only using 1 light, 1 super affordable light, by the way. And then the second course is the art of fabric draping, which is where I show you 5 different fabric draping techniques with 5 different styles and types of fabric, so that you can create drama in your images and give it kind of that Vogue runway kind of feel if that's your style. And then the third course is the ultimate guide to backdrop editing. So in that course, I go over how I use Sorcery Sauce by Hello Little Props, but how I tweak it to make the edges look more seamless and to make the overall image look a little bit better, because when you run Sorcery Sauce, it doesn't perfectly fix the edges how you need it to sometimes. So I go over every single detail of how I edit my backdrop sessions from start to finish to make them look really beautifully finished and high end. So now you can get all 3 of those courses in a bundle, and the bundle is only $387. So that's less than what most of you are probably charging for a single photo shoot to your clients. So for the cost of 1 photo shoot, you could have all 3 of these courses. And the great thing is they are self-paced. They are pre-recorded modules so that you can go back in and rewatch, rewind, fast forward, replay as many times as you want to, as often as you want to, so that you can always kind of refresh yourself on the information anytime you're going back to a shoot or just, you know, giving yourself a refresher. So that's the great thing about my courses is they're self-paced and you can watch them at your own convenience, whether it's 2 a.m. or whatever. So they're not live. You just buy them and you have lifetime access to them forever. And they are really, really great courses. And if you don't need the bundle, if you already know some of those things, but you want to buy a single course, that is also an option. I just have the bundle listed on there for those who want a discount for buying all three together. So definitely check out my online courses. They are on my website in the store tab and the education tab. And if you don't follow me, please do. My Instagram is Tia Dawn Photography OKC. And that's my Facebook as well. And that will all be linked in the description box below. So follow me if you want to get inspiration, see tips and tricks, and just get inspired by the different shoots that I do if you love my style. So I hope that I will see you guys on my social media, and I hope that you give this a try. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. All right, I'm going to clean all this up now, which I'm not looking forward to. But I'm going to do it because I have to. If I don't do it right now, this will sit in here for days and it'll never get done. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will be back soon with another tutorial. Bye, guys.